in the important day. The Teachers' Day is being celebrated by the Holy Angel School of Salem. I heard about the school from number of sources. It is a inspiration point, and at the outset I express my sincere and heartfelt thanks to all the great souls who have invited me here on the important occasion as a Teachers' Day. Since morning we are seeing the multi-talented mega events, and I do not know what type of efforts taken by all the teachers who have molded the students to perform very well in presence of the audience. Not only the performers enjoyed, not only the people who have come from outside enjoyed, but I could understand that all the children who have responded very nicely. Sincerely, the thanks should go to the principal, Sister Santi Joseph, and her vice principal Porkodi Madam. So I am having the great salute to all for this memorable event. So this day is being celebrated all over India. We are celebrating this day on September 5 is the Teachers' Day in India, but is throughout the world is the October 5 they are celebrating the World Teachers' Day, because country to country vary depending upon the situation, the demands. But we are celebrating to have memory of Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, who was the first Vice President of India and the second President of India, and who have studied philosophy subject, and he has given the new directions, and as an academician, as a teacher, he has been elevated to the highest, to receive highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna, and many more achievements in his life, like he was the King's George V. Chair of Mental and Moral Science at the University of Calcutta during 1921 to 32, and he was a Spalding Professor of Eastern Religion and Ethics at the University of Oxford. So many honorary membership of British Royal Order of Merit in 1963. So why we are remembering Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan? Because he believed that teachers should be the best minds of our country. I strongly believe that the schools are creating the bureaucrats, technocrats, scientists, what not, because the teachers are who are building the morale, motivating the students, even though they have, because we have seen when the students are performing how the teachers are facing the problem in domestic life, even though they are highly motivated and bringing the students. We are working at the university level. When you are sending the students to the higher learning institutions, our work is very easier, and we are able to mold the students in the desirable direction what the country needs. So I hope the school is doing a wonderful job and molding the personalities in every classroom, and this is a second salute to the school and the administration. I am standing before you as a professor of sociology. I have been taught not by one teacher, but throughout my life I have come across few teachers who inspired me. I studied undergraduation in PSC College of Arts and Science. Then the teachers, because I changed my life from schools to the college, and after 3 years, 3 years only I studied. But they have given the direction how to go, how to move, how to build up my personality, which helped me a lot. I moved to the university for getting the doctorate and moved to various universities. I worked under 10 vice chancellors, 3 different universities, 2 in Tamil Nadu and 1 in Andhra Pradesh. And still now, how I have to express about the personality of the teachers. In PSC Arts College, almost I am in all the committees, selection committee, board of studies. I studied until 1982, but till now, I am one of the important members in the department. And always my teachers keeping me in the highest position. And I am telling them, teachers, now what they are telling me is you are the guide for us. So, the teachers only can say that the students is the guide for the teacher. So, you cannot get such type of any movement anywhere else in the world. So, people told that number of even speakers earlier, the chief guest mentioned that, and our principal told about, he narrated a report from the newspaper that how the teachers are not listed in the corruption list. So, teaching is a noble profession, even though there are many professions already to choose. Any profession you can earn money, but the teaching profession is creating so many other professions. So, you cannot see teaching professions make bank employees, many officials, many scientists, technocrats. Only teachers can do that, because the teacher is not at all having anything in mind, only is molding the personality. So, once you are, we are taking the example from the Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, when he retired from as a vice chancellor, he has to move to the railway station, and those days the chart, the vehicle carry the vice chancellor the car with this on horses. But the students told, because we like to take to the railway station instead of horses, we like to take. So, such type of inspiration, because sometimes students are learning from the teachers, but I am always saying that even teachers can learn from the students, because this is a tireless effort, and your consistent effort is not only giving the direction to the students, but motivating them in all the directions. And we know very well, not only your these we call is a socialization process. Socialization process is a never-ending process. It takes you in further different stages. One of my teachers, whose name is Y.C. Simhadri. Y.C. Simhadri he was born in a very small, poor family. Currently he is working as the vice chancellor of Patna University. In his lifetime, he was a vice chancellor at Acharya Nagarjuna University, Andhra Pradesh. Then he was a vice chancellor of Banaras Hindu University, Uttar Pradesh. Again, he was the Andhra University vice chancellor. He was elevated to the Patna University vice chancellor. If you go through his academic record, he studied sociology at Andhra University, and he was invited to the Case Western University in US. He got doctorate within 9 months because of inspirational work and what we analyze the research. And you cannot imagine, he visited 120 countries, and because of his only one thing is he has a commitment to his discipline. So, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan never studied any science subject. He understood that morality, values and ethics. When I joined for my post-graduation in sociology at Bharatiyar University, my teacher, my guru, he never asked me to study for subject books. He asked me to buy first 10 rupees cost those days, 1982. The title of the book is Character. Character disciplines, you can learn so many things. Today's world is a global village because of the informative age we are living. But the teaching cannot be replaced by any kind of technology. So the character, I simply purchased the book those days, and I was not just to go through for 2 or 3 pages. But till today, I am having the book. Number of times I underlined, number of times I digested, which helped me to stand before you to express my sincere feelings. That is the reason we inculcated. I have developed so many my students who are working in various places. Now I am in between. Still my students are studying under my guidance, and somebody have crossed the limit. They are working in various places. Even somebody is working in foreign countries too, which helped because I studied under the able teachers who have molded. You no need to teach from the teachers how they teach, but what I loved from them is what I learned from this, the personality. How they taught, that is not importance, and how they wanted to share their thought-provoking ideas, and each and every minute they are working for your progress, because now you are in the young minds and you have not only one talents. Sometimes those days we have only unified talents. Now I am seeing all the people, you have multifaceted talents, and certainly the world is expecting more from you. That is only, it is possible only through the teachers who have taught, who have inspired, and who are keep on motivating in all the possible direction. Sometimes teaching is the vital, because the teacher is learning from the books, learning from you, and learning from various sources. The read told is very, very important. How they are narrating the things, because once we have a narrating, we do not know much, but we have a strong research methodological orientation in narratives. Narratives consist of so many things, because depending upon the student's ability, depending upon the student's performance in the class, the teacher is able to transfer his retelling through his narrations. So narratives are, many organizations are following. Once upon a time we have a strong, but today we have a plenty of resources to learn many things. If you go through any website, any kind of search engines may give the information, but teacher is, you cannot replace, because teacher is always working for he or she knows how the strength and weakness of the students, which helps a lot to mold the personalities. Then teachers are living with the ethics. Ethics, these and all more qualitative terminology you cannot measure. So ethics is, so not only this inspiration of the wordings and the characters and the way they are giving the leadership qualities. But today when you are coming to the higher learning institutions after the school, but we know very well, after the independence, some of the areas we have to go very strongly, and still there are some problems. For example, we are very lacking behind in terms of literacy. Literacy is, there are, the current statistics says that out of every 100, only we have around 65 people only they able to read and write. Still we need to work in the strong areas, not only getting the education from the teachers, but you have to work hard to at least you can nearby areas to remove of the illiteracy. And still we have a lack of motivational youth. India is currently, we have plenty of youth when compared to China and other countries. We have more than one third of population, around 44% of people are youth. But they have no direction. They are not at all having the motivation skills. You can see many are unemployed, many are underemployed. We have the chances to learn from good schools like this. But many children, many youth are unable to cope up with these things. But only one thing is the teacher can, because once you are coming as a teacher, because our level, we have developed the model village nearby university. We have adopted the village, and we are working, preparing for the human development report for the some certain districts, and we have come across what are the still we have a gap areas. Then we can understand that these areas can be fulfilled only an inspirational teacher. Our role is not confined within the classroom, but we are moving towards the beyond the classroom, going to the villages, going to the cities, wherever the ideas are lacking, wherever the motivation is completely missing. So in this context, every one of us have the great opportunity to, when you are becoming the teacher and the students, we must have lot of reciprocal relationship, which helps to go to the many places and build the society. Because when you are a children, you are in the family building process. When you are becoming the adult, you are having a different type of building process. But throughout the nation, we are the many building process, nation building process, family building process, community building process, and social building process. All these processes, we need the complete thorough understanding about not only the books, but you can listen from the teacher how he or she is molding you, how they are taking to the other step. So these are not a one-day event. It is a continuous, it is a tireless. If you are working hard, certainly you can bring up your family names, bring up the school names, certain level, and certainly because of you, the system will emerge positively, the society will be built up very positively. So we have to respect our teachers, salute our teachers, as I am doing all these days, because my teachers are more than me, and they have enjoying my success. So I hope I have taken much time. The only one message from my point from this on this important occasion is, always we can not only beyond the schools, you must have the strong relation with your teachers. They will always listen from you wherever you go, what type of success you earned, because no other individual can enjoy, but your teachers always listening for you, that whatever the height you are going to touch. With these few words, I express my sincere and heartfelt thanks to the organizers for giving me an opportunity to stand before you for this important Teachers' Day occasion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. It was a thought-provoking speech. Akila, I think we should have a break now. It's fun time, girls. Shut up. Put your hands together.
And now, it is the Teachers' Games. Start.
Stop. Time's up.
Jacinta ma'am.
The maximum shaving will be the winner. It's Jacinta ma'am
And Judy miss.
Judith miss and Uma miss is the runners. Interesting game. Each hand will contain a sari, and within 45 seconds, the teacher must fold it. The best folder
will be given the award. All the stars are requested to come to the stage immediately. Ready, girls? On your mark. Girls, cheer up for your stars. For your teachers. Come on. Three, two, one. Time's up. We cordially invite our Vice Principal Part-3 ma'am to see the best bowling. Ramasamy sir is the winner. Mr. Ramasamy gets a third place. Mr. Sannagu Sundararaj, second place. Amazing. Thank you, girls. I humbly request our chief guest, Mr. Venkatachalam, to give away the prizes.
Second place to Uma Mageshwari ma'am. Gen staffs. The first place goes to Mr. Ramaswamy. LKGB, Mrs. Srilaja Suresh. LKGC, Mrs. Esther Rani. UKGA, Mrs. G. Revati. UKGB, Mrs. Satyabama. UKGC, Mrs. Jacinta Sukumar. Third A, Mrs. Uma Mageshwari. Third B, Sister Bernadine. Third C, Mrs. Nandini.
Girls, please cheer up.
Fourth A, Mrs. M. Kavita. Fourth B, Mrs. Bobby. Fourth C, Mrs. Vidya Lakshmi. Fourth D, Mrs. Marvili. Fifth A, Mrs. Vijaya. Fifth B, Mrs. Rekha. Fifth D, Mrs. R. Radhika. Vanita, Mrs. J.V. Jacinta, Mrs. Sampurna, Mrs. J. Manchu. E. N. Geeta. Sixth C, Mrs. Sasikala. Sixth D, Mrs. Leslie Gracia. Seventh A, Mrs. G. Uma Shankari. teachers, Mr. A.S. Jayakrishnan, Mrs. Kavita Rani, Mrs. Sundari Jason, Mrs. Saranya Devi, Mrs. Saranya, Mrs. Lavanya, I request all the higher secondary teachers to come and receive their gifts. 11th A, Mrs. Dhanishwari. 11B, Mrs. Sujata. 11C, Mrs. Jacinta Michael. 11E, R. Soumya. 11E, Mrs. Rosi Amaya. 12A, Mr. V. Ramasamy. 12B, Mrs. A. Mary Janet. 12C, Mrs. R. Gayatri. 12D, Mrs. C. Visalakshi. Come and receive their gifts. Mr. M. Mohandas, Mr. G. George Wilson, Mr. Selim Xavier, Mrs. Manimegalai, Mrs. Kamala, Mrs. M.S. Potkudi, Mrs. Parvati Ganesh, Mrs. Rupali Prabhakaran. I request all the non-teaching staff to come and receive their gifts. Mr. K. Shaktivel, Mr. R. Tangavelu, Mr. V. Selva, Mr. Robin, Mrs. Satya, Mrs. Angeline Mary, Mrs. Angeline Mary, Muthumis, Mr. V. Karnanidhi, Karnanidhi sir is celebrating his birthday today. Mr. Francis, Mr. John Bosco, Mr. Shanmuga Sundarraj, Mr. Vincent, Mrs. Jacinta Mary, Muthumis, Mrs. Jacinta Mary, Mrs. R. Sumati, I request workers to come and receive their gifts. Mrs. Aragya Mary, Mrs. Lily, Mrs. Velangani, Mrs. Arul Mary, Mr. Periyanan, Mrs. Gomati, Mr. Kanigaraj, Mrs. Arul Mary, Night Watchman, Mr. C. Sundaram. I request Mr. Aravind to come and receive the gift. Miss Anil, Mrs. Arogya Sagayarani, Mrs. Antoni Amman, Miss Satya, Mrs. Tracy Arogya Mary, Mrs. Sridevi, Mrs. Rekha.
Let us now make this show complete by the proposal of vote of thanks by Priya Rajendran.
Good afternoon to everyone. Gratitude is like sunshine. I thank the Almighty for showering us with His blessings. First of all, I would like to thank our chief guest, Mr. Venkatachalam, for joining us on this wonderful day. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your thought-provoking speech. We assure you that we will follow your words and come out in flying colors. Your presence has made us very proud. Thank you so much, sir. I would also like to thank our special guest, Mrs. Usha Joseph, for making our program more colorful in spite of her busy schedule. We feel very privileged that you are here with us, ma'am. Thank you so much, madam. Today has been a great success because of the angels of holy angels who made this show a big blast. We convey our heartfelt gratitude to all the 12th standard students who took special care to make this program a grand success. Thanks to all the participants for entertaining us with your remarkable performance. Thanks to all the organizers and coordinators. We all thank all the students for contribution and all the teachers for wearing the smiley badges. We also thank the JRC and guides. Thanks to our sponsors, Nina Enterprise, our gift sponsor, Unique Events for our amazing decoration, and Sri Kanu Catering Services for providing us delicious food. Last but not the least, our loving teachers. Till now, I've thanked a lot of people, but my heartfelt thanks to all the sagacious sculptures of our lives. Yes, it's you, our lovely teachers. Nandri, Dhanyavad, Mercy Baku, Gracias, and thank you, my dear teachers. You're not only the heroines and heroes of today, but you will always remain in our hearts. We found guidance, friendship, discipline, and everything in one person, and that person is you, my dear teachers. Thank you so much for being there for us always. We all love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priya. I now request everybody to stand up for the school anthem.